Hi, welcome back. Can you believe that I still, from the beginning of the year up until now, haven't found a 5-star book? Last year, I already had like 3 5-star book and 1 new favorite of all time. This year has been a very good reading year in terms of numbers. I've read tons of books. I've read almost 60 books up until now, but still I have not found a 5-star book. So this is going to be my attempt at trying to find a 5-star book. Now, this is me from the future. This is me having completed this video. I just have to warn you, it's going to be very long because it took me, oh how it took me. I found some very good books that were just on the cusp of being 5-star, and then I found some very bad ones, like 1-star worthy bad ones. And I read a lot of them to get to the one that finally ended this video, because this is going to be I will end this video when I find a 5-star book, not until then. I'm so excited to start this video. It took me so long to edit. I hope you enjoy. Let's start with the reading. Hi, hello. Welcome to my childhood bedroom. And you may ask, Alice, why are you starting your vlog deep in the night? I really wanted to start it this evening. Unfortunately, I had a family emergency. Everything is alright now, but it was a very stressful day. So I took a shower. The hair is kinda eating. I mean, it's so wavy, and I just blow dry it the way you're supposed to do with wavy hair. I'm starting this vlog reading King of Envy. I am, I think, 45% of the way through the audiobook. Let me stop you right there. I know that this is not going to be a 5-star book. And I knew this going in because I wanted a palate cleanser book. I just finished a 1200 pages series, very dense high fantasy called Nanton. Very good, but not quite 5 stars. And so I was like, I need a palate cleanser. I need something fun, light, something goofy and silly. And I had the credit for King of Envy, so I started it. It's not a good book at all, but it's doing its job. So I'm starting this vlog with King of Envy. I am having a silly goofy time, honestly. The plot of King of Envy, it's almost the same plot of every Anna Huang book. If you read one, you read all of them. The main guy is called Vuk Markovich. He is very recognizable because he has heavy scarring on his face and body, and he's mute. He has selective muteness, and he communicates with sign language. And the main girl is a very famous model. She's under an agency and has an agent that is very icky. He knows where she is every time, like when she's home, when she's out grocery shopping, when she's eating. Very toxic situation right there. And she is betrothed to Vuk's best friend because they have a contract. The best friend is going to get his inheritance, very hefty inheritance, only if he stays married for 5 years. And then she, in return for marrying him, is going to get, I think, $5 million. And she really needs the money to leave her awful agency that is very powerful in the fashion world. And so she's getting married to this guy. They're getting along fine, they're friends, but Vuk is super in love with the main lead, the main female lead. Everybody that said to me that this is a yearner book, may you burn in hell, because every time he thinks about her, it's always only sexual. He only thinks about kissing her until he bruises her lips and all the things that he could do to her if he just could be the one who's marrying her. And it's never romantic at all. At this point in time, it's a 2.5, but you know, it's doing what it's supposed to do. We'll have to pick something. I have some books on my TBR, or my spring TBR, that is going to, I have a video that is going to go up, I think, before this one. So, we'll see. See, this is what happens when you have 3 nightmares in a row. Let's see if my braid kept up my beautiful waves. I am not positive at all. Well, I mean, not bad at all. Let's talk about King of Envy, shall we? I am, I think, 55 or 60% of the way through. I'll keep it brief. A heterosexual relationship or a prison. The way the book talks about our main lead, like our main female lead. Disgusting! I don't like it at all. I don't like this because the only things that he knows how to say is, she is mine. She should be with me. She is mine. And I'm like, have you given her anything to go on? I mean, yeah, you're rich, you're powerful, blah, blah, blah. Only way that he thinks about her is through possessiveness, which I get. He is a tormented soul, but I mean, come on, at one point you have to get romantic about it if you want me to get invested in the relationship. It's a romantic relationship. It's framed as a big romantic gestures that he does at the halfway point of the book. He proposes something to another person, and it's not romantic at all. He's just taking agency away from the main female lead. Unfortunately, the action scenes are very badly written, to the point where, what is even going on? Why are people who were on the other side of the room suddenly on the forefront of the action scenes? Why are people headlocking people, but then they are in front of them? It's a mess. It's a mess. I don't know how an editor approved of this. Even though I think this is the best Ana Huang book that I've ever read, it's still, let's say it all together, bad. So it's still a 2.5 stars. I think I'm going to finish it today. I have roughly 4 hours of the audiobook left. There is a beautiful bird outside that is braving the rain. It's the perfect weather for reading. I am starting to glow like Jesus, so let's get reading. Look at her. Look at her. Good morning. Do not mind my state of dressing. This is the only thing that I brought back from my study abroad program in New York. And I bought, for some reason, a New York Knicks sweater. Edit Analysis here apparently was the right sweater to buy because the Knicks have won. Go New York, I guess. Have I ever watched the Knicks play? No. Do I know which sport they play? No. Yesterday night, I finished King of Envy. I've already written a review for this book. I think I gave it 2.5 stars. I was entertained. It gave me what I wanted. I wanted fun, light entertainment. I got that. However, the writing, the pacing, the plot, the characters, they were all a mess. They were objectively a mess. The pacing especially was so all over the place because the book peaks at the halfway point, and then it's just like an addendum, an extended epilogue in which things do happen, but the gravitas is completely lost on me. There's no tension whatsoever, even though things are happening in the relationship with the gangsters. The central point of the story was at the halfway point, and everything that comes after is just like something else. I hated the sex scenes. They were so cringy, so cringy. I unfortunately do not like this style of writing at all, especially for the more intimate scenes, because it's cliches upon cliches. Every sentence structure is taken from another book that I've already read. I've already seen this scene before. I've already read about it. I was bored. I was entertained by some of the moments, but I was also bored to tears, especially during the intimate parts. Vuk especially, he is so Batman coded, but not like good Batman. I love Batman comics, okay? It's the meme Batman. And it's like, I'm Batman. I live in the shadows. Justice. This is Vuk Markovich in a nutshell. Now, I have to decide what to rate next. I really want a 5 stars. I'm craving it. It has been 4 months without a proper 5 star. Am I getting too picky? Possibly. Am I getting too cynical? Yes. I just need something very good. Hello, good morning. I never realized that I can actually film from my floor. And this is actually a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than me on my desk. Yesterday, I went to IKEA because I had a very stressful day. And so I was like, let's do some retail therapy. Buying what I actually should buy. I have been eyeing this for a month. I have a new card. I know that people usually put like aesthetic books, their TBR. These are my mangas, which I think that it's still very, very cute. Just not what you're probably used to see on Pinterest. And you may ask, Alice, did you start another book yesterday night? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I think I found a new way to doom scroll. I scrolled and scrolled and scrolled all evening to find another audiobook because I was in the mood for another audiobook. And I was like, maybe I'm in the mood for a romantasy. Should I read Wings of Blood? I went to the Magical Academy, and then I was like, Alice, you know that these are not going to be 5 stars. You know that these are going to be trashy and you're going to like have a fun time, but you're not going to like them. And then I went on the internet, which is something you really shouldn't do in these cases. And I saw that Lena Dunham published her memoir, Famesick. If you don't know who Lena Dunham is, she is a very famous actress. She was on Girls, one of the protagonists of Girls. And then she had a very tumultuous relationship with Jack Antonoff. And I'm a nosy bitch. Why do I want to read this so bad? I may try to buy this book on ebook because I want the gossip. I am a gossipy person, unfortunately, especially when gossips are about people who I barely know. I think my next read is going to be Famesick. Let's hope for the best! Oh, I almost forgot to tell you that I actually need to pick an audiobook because I have a very long commute on my 2 feet because my bike is nowhere to be seen. I know where it is. It's at the point of my destination because I left it there. So I've chosen the audiobook of Eric of Melniboné. This is it's an old fantasy series that is still so beloved. It's about a very unconventional hero. It's a very frail emperor that is in a feud with his cousin that is also there's a mosquito trying to enter my house. It's not going to enter. There's in a feud with his cousin that it's also the brother of his beloved. Wouldn't that mean that the protagonist and his beloved are cousins? But these are questions for another day. I hope that the audiobook is good and that I will like it because I'm very, very intrigued by this very old, very, medieval-esque fantasy series. Let's hope for the best. Okay, hi, good morning. Remember when I told you that I was gonna start, I think, Eric of Melniboné, fantasy series from the 70s, very medieval fantasies with dragons. I did. I started it. It says 4% because I bought the entirety of the whole box set of books. The first book, which is very, very short, is just, I think, 200 pages, is Eric of Melniboné. I am, I think, halfway through. So good. I don't know if it's going to be a 5-star book, but it's so good. Such a classic medieval fantasy in which the ruler of this island kingdom that has been ruling with dragons for 10,000 years is on the decline, and everybody is thinking that it's the fault of the ruler because he was born with a very frail body, very fair skin, red eyes, and he's also kind. He's the first emperor of this island that is kind and not ruthless. Well, he is not kind. He is so magically powerful, but he has a moral background because he has read a lot of books, and so he's like, well, if I use this power right now, what is going to become of the people, of my people in the future? So there's a moral dilemma in everything that he does. It's so interesting, and there's elemental demons and the gods of chaos. It's very, very fun. I have started this one. Remember when I told you that I was not gonna start another mid-romantasy book? I started on Wings of Blood. And I am fucking stupid. I'm so fucking stupid because in the first 10 minutes of listening to the audiobook, I knew that I was going to give this 2 stars. Okay, maybe 2.5. Rounded up. This is another romantasy. It has an academic setting. The protagonist wakes up in another world. She's from a world of fays. She was a princess and she wakes up in a world of vampires, and she meets this kind of very high lord of the vampires, and he is like, well, you're actually from the long lineage of dragon riders because you have a mark. She has like purple hair. That's the mark, and that's so stupid. And so he's like, well, you have to be my consort because we have to have a kid. Even though he doesn't want to, he fucking hates her for no reason at all. And so he's like, you have to be schooled. Go to this vampire academy. I don't even know what to say. Everything's so fucking stupid, especially the protagonist who never asks a question. Well, she asks all the wrong ones. She gets transported into another world and she never thinks about her old life. What are they going to do? The beginning is so poorly written and so poorly described, the scenery, that I thought, oh shoot, I started the second book in a series. I'm missing so much context because people are talking about things that have happened in the past and as if I should know them. And so I was like, oh, I probably started the wrong book. False. That's the first book. That's how it starts. Poorly written and poorly planned. And sometimes the description of people, okay, are good, are luscious, they're atmospherical, and then you get to the places, you never know where you are. I know that this is not going to be a 5-star, but why did I start it? I do not subscribe to the I just want to turn off my brain. My brain never shuts up. The moment that you switch to critically thinking about your reading, you never shut it off. You can read everything from the silliest of books to the most serious, and you're going to find a way to critically engage with it, which is so, I think, cool. The way you acquire this as a skill. So I'm going to write a lengthy review about why I don't like it. So I'm never going to shut my brain off with a book like this. The book that is mostly like to be a higher rating is Elric of Melniboné. So let's get on with this. Yay! I look like I crawled out of somewhere dark and deep. Today was a very long day. I have been playing my flute because if you didn't know, I play the flute in an orchestra and we're having like a very, very big concert in May. And I've been playing the flute for 6.5 hours. I cannot feel my hands. That, however, meant that I listened to a lot of my audiobook going and coming to my music academy. And Eric of Melniboné is still great. I really like it. I'm on part 3, which is the last part of the first book. Everything is going quite badly, especially because everybody is placing a lot of heavy expectations on Eric and his magical powers, and he's stretching himself so far. I think he is going to pop at the end of the book. I think something really very bad is going to happen, especially because I know that there are, I think, 5 or 6 books, so something bad must happen, like a cliffhanger. On Wings of Blood, I have no idea why I'm going on, because I am in the halfway point. Okay, I reached the halfway point. The male lead, okay, the Lord Vampire, all-knowing, all-powerful, a jackass. We are in a medieval fantasy, and yet the protagonist, the female protagonist, calls him a hardass, I think. Jackass, hardass, something like that, which is a very modern term, but I mean, she is correct. He did something to one of her friends that I think it's unforgivable. I don't want to root for a couple in which the male lead does something like that. That's just the way it is. It's not badly written, it's just so mediocre. I was listening to the audiobook to fall asleep, so I gave myself a timer, but instead of giving myself like 15 minutes of the audiobook, I gave myself 30. So I fell asleep in 5 and missed 25 minutes of the audiobook, and I was still in the same scene as when I fell asleep. Nothing fucking happened in 25 minutes of audiobook. Yes, exactly. Listen, it's a couple hours later. I was trying on my lip combo and then forgot to put on any other makeup. I am on the last chapter of Eric of Melniboné. It's such a cool book. I don't want to spoil you, but there are a lot more demons than I previously thought. I, however, have encountered my mortal enemy. I am deathly afraid of two things: the deep water and caves, especially the Natipati cave. If you don't know what that is, don't Google it. It's anxiety inducing. It's my worst nightmare to get stuck underground and to progress. At one point, Eric needs to go into a kind of Natipati cave, so in a very, very small opening that it's made, I think, of flesh. He has to dive into it because it's so small. No. It's so fucking scary. I was just starting to get a teensy bit bored, and then it brought me back. So, I think this is going to be a 4.25. So far, the ending, if the ending is really good, I'm going to give it a 4.5. I just wanted to show you my outfit. You cannot really see it, but I'm wearing a skirt, like a long skirt. Bag with all of my charms, got my earphones, got my dog, and I'm going to get the Dungeon Crawler Carl Volume 2 from my local bookstore. I ordered it. I'm so excited. I think that is going to be my next read because I finished Eric of Many Bonnet. I'm going to talk to you about that very soon. I'm so excited. Like, I feel so cool. Isn't it nice when you go about on your day and your hair looks like shit, and when you're about to go to sleep, like perfect waves? Love it, love it. So yesterday I finished Eric of Melny Bonnet. It was very good, especially the ending. The ending was so like dark retro fantasy. It really reminded me of this graphic novel that I read called Vermis, a manual for a video game that never existed, and it's a retro dark fantasy video game. The fact that we get to the ending and it's a very good ending. You could wrap it up just like that from the first book, but then it gives you hints that something is going to go so wrong. It's worse than gossip. I need to know how it ends. So I think I will pause it for a little while, but I will get back to it because I am so enthralled. And apparently the sword, the magic sword that Eric gets, apparently it's very magical, and a lot of people on Tumblr really like that sword. So I want to know the hot goss. So now you saw me purchase it. I'm so excited about Dungeon Crawler Carl Volume 2. I am apprehensive because they changed the translator from the first volume to the second one, and I don't know why. I went on a talk with the translator of the first volume, and he was so knowledgeable about video games. I hope that the translator here is also just as knowledgeable. Nobody spoke about the translation, so I think it's fine. I'm going to start it today or maybe tomorrow. I think I'm going to start it tomorrow because tonight I want to finish On Wings of Blood. It's so fucking stupid. Like, it's aggressively mediocre in a way that it's getting boring. And that's the worst. That's the worst. I am unfortunately not a quitter. I should put this book on my DNF shelf. It's there on Goodreads. It's now there. They added it. I won't use it for some reason. I don't know. It feels like admitting defeat. So I will finish it today. It's probably going to be a 2-star. Oh my god. Why do I do this to myself? Okay, hi. I went to the dentist. This is why I look so rugged. But on the tram, I started. Well, you cannot actually see it, but look at the pouch that I crocheted. Isn't it so cute? I wanted it to be square and they're rhombus. I started Dungeon Crawler Carl Volume 2. I'm having tons of fun. In the span of I think not even an hour, I read 70 pages. I think it just flows so well, and we start right at the ending of Volume 2. So if you read this one right after Volume 2, it was like a continuation. It was like it never ended. I'm having tons of fun. We're getting tons of lore about the story the Dungeon Crawler Carl is, which, if you didn't know, this is lit RPG, so it's kind of like a video game. It's a role play game, but in book form. The protagonist, with just his briefs, his underpants, and his ex-girlfriend's cat called Princess Donut survives an alien invasion in which they destroy everything that is on the crust of the earth and they build dungeons under the crust of the earth, and they have to get to the bottom of the dungeons to survive, and the cat can talk. And it's so fabulous. She's a diva. Carl is also very, very funny. This is a very funny book. And right now they are on stage, I think 3. They just changed races and class, just like a D&D campaign. So fun. What is not fun is On Wings of Blood. I have an hour left of the audiobook and I'm this close to DNFing it. It's so fucking dumb. The protagonist, she's so stupid. And I always want to root for a female protagonist, okay? I never want to say that she's dumb or she's underdeveloped. She is. This time, however, she's not underdeveloped in favor of the male lead. The male lead is also fucking stupid. They're both fucking stupid. One-dimensional, the plot is non-existent, the narrative register is all over the place, the pacing is atrocious. It was a 2.5 star and then now it's 2 star. If the ending is not at least a sliver of good, it's a 1.5. The quest to find a 5 star really is hard. Hi, it's the next day and I finished On Wings of Blood. I vlogged none of it because it was so boring. I had nothing to say. I just listened to the audiobook on my commute to the university and to all of the places that I go to, and I just finished it. It's a 2 star, not a 1.5. The ending was on par with everything else. So it was not worse, but still a 2 star. It was very, very boring because the pacing was so atrocious and because I found the 2 protagonists to be so insufferably stupid, especially, and I hate to tell you this, the main female lead. Everything that I already told you still stands, unfortunately. But today is a new day. Today we go on with Dungeon Crawler Carl. Where is it? I know that the outfit is very like UPS corporate, not a sleigh, but I have some jeans with it. They are from the 80s. They're my mom's. They're such a sleigh. I am on page 97, so about 100 pages into Dungeon Crawler Carl Volume 2. I'm having tons of fun. The way that the plot is moving really reminded me of another book that could be considered lit RPG because it's kind of the same plot. Aliens come and you have to participate in these killing games. Like the ambience here, it's a lot more RPG, and the other one, which is The Earth is Online, it's a lot more we are still on Earth and there are aliens. They are headed to the same direction. Like the general theme of the second book here and the second book in The Earth is Online, it's the same. Very, very different tonally. A lot gayer in The Earth is Online and a lot more bloodthirsty, but the comparison is cool because I really liked The Earth is Online. So today I have to go to a flea market, I have to run some errands for my dog and read this book. I'm going to read this in my physical form book, but I also have to choose an audiobook because I only have the physical of this one. I don't have the audiobook and I need an audiobook for my commute. I need it. So we're going to choose another one and we're gonna go outside. Hi, it's incredibly sunny today. Unfortunately, that means that the lighting... Yeah, we're using our curtains and we're hoping for the best. Of course they're doing construction as soon as I start the video, but I just wanted to say that I'm still reading Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm having a wonderful time. Unfortunately, I found not even a typo, like a mistake in the translation that is so baffling. I don't even know what to say. Like there's a word that is not a word. There's a made up word. They were trying to translate circling around. There's fumla. It means nothing in Italian. I think something happened, and I want to know if it's just my copy or if I should, I don't know, email the publisher. What should I do? And this book was very expensive. It was 20 euros. Like, I'm having a wonderful time, and the translation so far has been very good, but that was very weird. Hi. Hello. I just came from the protest march. Today is the 25th of April, and today here in Italy we celebrate the liberation from the fascist regime. It was wonderful. They had history lessons out in the streets. They had choirs made of women. It was wonderful. I also came home and finished Dungeon Crawler Car Volume 2. My hair is doing what it's not supposed to do. I had a friend who had read, I think she has read up until volume 3, and she said that this one was the weakest one. I like this way more than volume 1. It had a little bit of a lull in the pacing, especially after the midway mark. And then it was just one thing after another, especially the ending. I really, really liked it. I think I liked the volume 1. I think I liked volume 1 a little bit less because it was so much explanation of things that I already knew because I'm an RPG fan, and this heavily relies on the RPG mechanics of video games. And I play video games all the time, so I already knew all of that. That's I think more for the inexperienced video game player that is reading this series. What is happening? There's suddenly music. What is happening? Okay, I investigated. Usually there's just some kids going around on boats with their speaker on 100 blasting fucking foul music, but this diva, this 30-year-old man is blasting Elodie, who is the most pop diva out of all the Italian pop divas. So I just have to stand. I think he's going through a breakup because he was singing so loud. I don't know. I'm giving this 4.5 stars. Very close. Very close. If it wasn't for that lull in the ending, this could have been a 5-star, but I think 4.5 is apt. I also read the excerpts. There's a bonus content, and that was so ominous. I cannot wait to get volume 3 in my hands. I think it's going to come out next month in Italy. So excited. So yeah, now I have to find another thing to read that is not going to disappoint me. I think I'll interrogate my friends. Oh well, I started this clip and I don't have my book. This is incredibly intelligent of me. I'll just put it up. After much deliberating and after starting and DNFing so many books, I started reading The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman. Lev Grossman is one of my favorite authors ever. He wrote the Magician's trilogy, which spurred a TV show that's one of my favorite ever. We do not talk about the 5th season. We do not talk about it. If you love Dark Academia, if you love an incredible writing style, you will love Lev Grossman's books. The Bright Sword is an Arthuriana book, so it is inspired by the Arthurian legends. The protagonist wants to become a knight at the Round Table. However, he comes in too late. Almost all of the old knights of the old guard are either dead or they left the Round Table. So he is in Camelot, and the old gods and old fairies are starting to wake up. And I read, I think, about 6% on the train. Wonderful experience. His writing style is so majestic and so funny, unexpectedly funny. Page 1, 2 knights are pummeling each other. I think I'm gonna have a blast with this one. Fingers crossed, I have my hopes very high that it's going to be a 5-star. I gave all of the Magician's books 5 stars, but the first one was my favorite. I also have a haul. So, as you saw, I started the series Eric of Melniboné, and I bought this wonderful, it looks vintage, doesn't it? It has a wonderful cover, but no, it's the new edition of the individual books for Eric of Melniboné. This came out, I think, December or September last year. Such a cool edition, and you can put it in your pocket. And then I bought, for like €4, the old edition of the 4th volume, because it's the only volume that was available in my bookshop. This is the 4th book of the Eric of Melniboné saga. Look at this cover. It's so vintage, it's so cool. This edition It's still in euros, so it's from the 2000s. This is from 2008. Fucking cool. Fucking cool. So I'll crack on with the bright sword and put these in my collection. Okay. Hi. I hope the microphone is working. I've already filmed this clip and my mic wasn't working, so fingers crossed. If it isn't working again, you'll just have the clip with the bad audio. I'm so sorry, but I finished The Bright Sword. I finished it like 15 minutes ago, and unfortunately it's not a 5-star. I know, I was so sure. This is going to be a 4.65. Okay, it's a very weird rating, but it's not quite a 4.75. It's not quite a 4.5. It's somewhere in the middle. I think my problem was with the pacing. There are a lot of chapters about other characters interlacing the main plot, and I think sometimes those extra chapters came at very weird places in the story and kind of broke the narrative tension. But overall, this was a marvelous book. It was written beautifully. It's very, very bittersweet, a very bittersweet story. It tackles the themes of religion, of the new Christianity and the old pagan gods, this clash of cultures so well. It also introduces queer characters in a historical setting so beautifully and done with so much tact and gentleness, even in the more gruesome parts. I loved every character. I loved the story. I loved the writing. The writing was a character of its own. It was so incredible. My quest for a 5-star continues. This, however, was the highlight of my year so far. This is going to be one of the best books I've read so far. I'm so happy I started this. But now, no more Lev Grossman books, at least adult books. I'm so sad about it. And now I have to pick something that could top this. Tough job, honestly. I just wanted to show you my hair. One minute. This is after being rained on. Isn't it cute? It's like a lion's mane, according to my mother. All this premise was to do something that we in Italian call indorare la pillola, which means to golden the pill. To sweeten the pill that you're about to swallow, because I am still on the quest of wanting to find a 5-star book. And I, like a fucking fool, started Starside by Alex Astor. This was pure FOMO. Everybody is reading this book. I was craving a fantasy book with like some kind of tournament. And I know that this is probably not gonna be the book for me. So far, it's not that bad. I listened to 2 hours of the audiobook and it's a 17-hour audiobook. It's just so bland. This is a fantasy. It's supposed to be a romantasy, but there's been no romance yet, which I really appreciate, in which every 50 years the gods open these gates and they can bestow the people that can get there some kind of magic for that can last until the other quintennial, I think they call it like that. If you're hearing this and saying, well, isn't this the plot of Lightlark, the other series by the same author? Yes. In that book was 100 years. Here we have 50 years. Yes, they are different, but they are also the same. Because Alex Astor, the author, has been releasing books like a machine. She has released, I think, 7 books in 4 years. She's also going to be publishing the Barbie book. Insanity. I think it's too much. I really think it's too much. In one of her interviews that I saw, she mixed the 2 plots for the 2 books from Lightlark to Starside. I think that's the sign that it's too much. I think she is in a very punishing contract right now. This book uses magic based on metal, so based on swords And the protagonist has a very good sword because silver is considered the metal of the gods, and she has a silver sword. Oh god, I have so many problems with this. This is just general knowledge. Gold, it's very malleable. If you want to bend gold, you can do so with your bare hands if you want to. It breaks easily. It's not supposed to be used as armor or with swords. And there are so many people that have golden armor and swords or daggers, and it's considered a sign of nobility because it's expensive. Yes, gold is expensive. It's also not very hard as a metal, and it's common knowledge. And they're not like enchanted swords or swords with magic. They're just golden. I think that's hilarious. I think you basing your magic system on metal and knowing nothing about your metals, I think that's hilarious. Also not a very good sign. And there's this, I think, the love interest who always wears a mask. So he's in full armor, mask. You never see his face. Very Mandalorian-esque. And the protagonist already told us that she has dark blue eyes, a very rare shade. Kill me now. Kill me now. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think I'll finish this book because I want to see why everybody is freaking out about the ending. This is a purely FOMO book, though. Yeah. Hi. Long time no see. And by long time, I mean yesterday. I think I'm DNFing Starside. And if you know me, you know that that's a big deal. I never DNF books. Never. I usually just start them and then I lose interest and then I never remember to pick them up again. So it's not an actual, like, a thought process of saying, I should DNF this book, I will. I just don't remember that I started them. I'm going to DNF it. And it's bad. It's incredibly bad because I usually, even with, I read On Wings of Blood, I read King of Envy. It's not a matter of the book being bad. This book, however, has nothing to it. I keep on listening to the audiobook and thinking we are still on the same scene, but no, there are different scenes in different places. They're all the same. I've listened to 4 hours of the audiobook. Things have happened. It's always the same fucking thing all over again. I'm debating going onward because people keep saying, oh, but the love story, it's so cool. It's enemies to lovers, like true enemies to true lovers. I don't know if I have it in me because it's so bland. That's the problem. Nothing in it screams originality. Everything is taken from other books. And I've already read a better version of it. It's incredibly boring because the pacing is all over the place. The author cannot describe the ambience, like the scenery, to save her life. She can kind of describe the people sometimes. The secondary characters are paper thin. There's nothing that they bring to the story outside of some quippy remarks. And I see no reason to go on with this book. And it's a very bad feeling, honestly, because every time I pick the book up again and it's always the same, I feel myself so bored. So now I shall choose another book for my quest. That it's not going as well as I thought it was going to go. Yeah. Hello. It has been a while. I've spent 5, I think, days because I went to the Italy's International Book Fest in Turin. It was a chaos, but also amazing. I bought a lot of books. I've just done a book haul in Italian because these are all Italian books, Italian translated books. But it was good. It was very, very good. I acquired some very fucking cool books. But also, I had a very long commute from my hometown to Turin. I had 3.5 hours in and out. So I had like 7 hours. You know what I did? I finished Starside. After I told you that I was gonna DNF it, I finished it. It's a 1.5 star. I think that we should start wanting more from our fantasy books. Because for me, a romantasy book has to be both a very good fantasy and a very good romance. It cannot be like a sloppy fantasy and a good romance or the other way around. It has to be good on both sides. It's a hybrid genre, so it has to be. This was neither. It was a very inconsequential romance. The author, unfortunately, did not want or did not know how to construct a good fantasy world, so the world building is completely flat. She never describes the scenery in a way that is vivid or colorful or that makes me imagine that scene. I never know where the characters are moving, what is going to happen next, because no rules or boundaries have been put in place, so everything can happen. And not in a fun way. The main protagonist, our Aries, she is just the blandest girl ever. She also is on a plot of revenge. She wants to kill the gods of this world and she has to be on this quest. She had so many years to think about a plan to kill these gods. Her plan is, let's just fuck around and find out. The whole hate love story is very flimsy and it's very badly constructed to the point that it leads to a plot hole. The only fun thing was obviously the ending. Everybody was so shocked about the ending. It was shocking. It was kind of like the only good thing that was put into this book, because everything else was an amalgamation of every other book that I've read before. It was not good enough to redeem everything that came before. It's a 500 pages book. I think I read the sequel only if they do something really, really funny, because the centennial is every 50 years. I want to see our protagonist get to her 70s and still be in love with this man. That would be very funny. I would read that book. So I was on the train when I finished it and I still had 2 hours left. I did what I told you in the beginning. I really want to read Lena Dunham's memoir. And finally the audiobook was available in my country and I started Famesick by Lena Dunham. It has some moments that are, I don't know, way too self-aware, I think, because it's written but also told to you by Lena Dunham. She is the narrator. Sometimes she puts emphasis on things that I think a normal reading experience wouldn't give you. And that's very interesting. That's very cool. So far, she writes very genuinely. It's very with her heart open, with her chest open. Everything is on the table. And it's also like so juicy because the gossips are there, truly. But I don't want to say juicy about a person's life that has been so much like eviscerated online. And so far, it's very good. I don't know if it's going to be a 5-star, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm very intrigued. I'll see you when I have something more to say about Famesick, or maybe when I finish it, because it's very short. I have to let you know, the tripod you're actually standing in, it's my laptop propped up on my foot. So yeah, I finished Famesick, and it's not the end of this journey. Oh my god, this has been a monthly long video. This has been all of my May. Honestly, I did not think that I would take so much time to find a 5-star book. This video is going to be enormous, okay? Famesick is probably going to be a 4.25 stars. I know a lot of people tend to not rate biographies or memoirs. I, however, rate them because I think they're books. They can be rated. There was a user experience and that was me, a reader experience, if you will. I listened to the audiobook in which Lena Dunham actually narrated the whole book, and I think it was very genuine. I think it was very heartfelt, like she bled onto those pages. It's the story of her life from the beginning of her fame days, from the beginning of Girls, even a little bit before that, and then up until, I think, the 2020s. I think it would have been a 4.5 if it hadn't been for the third part, because I think Lena Dunham finishes the book at the second part. I think it was the ending of her relationship and then she got out of rehab, and I think that was the pivotal moment. She goes to London, she has like the time of her life in the constraints of her chronically ill body, okay? And I think there I felt like an ending, like a rhythmic ending. And then we kept going, which I mean, it's life. Life doesn't have like this character arc, but I feel there was an ending and then we kept going for the sake of keeping on telling us stuff. And I don't think that added much to the memoir. I think the most hard-hitting part was the first and second part. I don't know, there were some, in retrospect, moments in which Lena Dunham thinks back of what she could have done if she was in a different position in some of the situations, and I think those were the least genuine moments, because in retrospect, obviously you would have done like the good thing, the better thing. That's not what you're going to do, because that was not your position and that was not the time. Taking out the third part and those moments, it would have been a 5-star, maybe a 4.5, 4.75. So now, in the meanwhile, I went to Italy's international book fair in Turin called Salone del Libro di Torino, and I got a lot of books, okay? But most of all, I know this is not going to mean anything to English-speaking readers, but Emmanuel Carrère, who is a French writer, very famous in Italy, very famous internationally in Europe, wrote another book. And I've read almost all of his books. And Limonov, which is a biography written by Carrère about Limonov, it's one of my favorite books. And this, Kolkots, is the story of his family, especially the Georgian part of his family. But everything, his whole family tree is in this book. There's also like talks about like foreign politics, Russia, the Ukraine war. I'm halfway through it. And it's very good, like annoyingly very good, because it's one of those books where the author knows that they're good and they keep reminding you that they are, but they are. So I have high hopes that this is going to be very, very good. My boyfriend read it and loved it. Carrère is his favorite author.
Hello. I forgot my microphone, so I'm sorry if the audio is very weird. Right now, there's rain and sun, like the both of them, so I'm hoping for a rainbow. I'm also listening to the audiobook for my current read, Kolkots, by Emmanuel Carrère. So good. So good. We are at the part where he is a little boy and he's talking about his very controversial and complex mother and how her relationships destroyed her father, who was also another complex character, but also like person, you know what I mean? And I also decided that I was going to do my spring cleaning and put my winter clothes away. I'm going to do just that. I'm going to listen to the audiobook. I don't know if you can, like, there's so much. Let's listen to some of the audiobook.
Guys, we did it! I found my 5-star book after a month! I feel euphoric. I also feel like I'm on drugs somehow. I finished Kolkots. This is a 5-star book. I read this in the sun. I don't know if you can see this. This is a wonderful Italian edition, but it's also already sun bleached. I don't know how well you can see it. It was so much bluer when I bought it. But yes, this is going to be my 5-star read. This video is over. This was an epic journey. This was my odyssey, okay? It was incredible. Especially, my boyfriend told me that at page 300, it took a turn. And it really took a turn, because up until page 300, it was kind of the story, like the historical story of the author's family, from the roots of his great-grandfathers and grandmothers back in Russia, Georgia, and also in France. And then we get to the present timeline, and the present timeline is the Russia-Ukraine war. It's so well written, it's so empathetic towards the voyages that the author took, because he went to Ukraine so many times during war times. Like now, it all wraps up with the death of his very, very famous mother. And it's such a complex book, because his mother was such a complex person, and everybody in his family was a complex person, apparently. Just to tell you something, his cousin, Salome, is the president of the Republic of Georgia. Just the writing is incredible. He has such a away with a long phrase that doesn't feel heavy, or you don't get lost in it. It's just so precise, very clear cut. Loved it. I loved it a lot. This is not my favorite Emmanuel Carrère book. I still think Limonov is my favorite. That book was just insane, but I still have to read the Philip K. Dick biography, which apparently is also insane. So yeah, this is my first actual 5-star book since the beginning of the year. This is insanity. It's June. Today, it's one of the first days of June. This is not a good reading year apparently, but yeah, this was the right choice. I'm so happy. So now I have to say goodbye. Finally, after a month, this video is over. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. I have some socials, they'll jump below, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.